Rutherford Issues with Bryan Barrett on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
And Rutherford Issues is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. You can take control of your energy use with the MyMTE app. Track your usage, pay your bill, report outages right from the MyMTE app, free on iOS and Android. Lee Colvin is here. He is an Edward Jones financial advisor and comes in to give us a little information. Good morning, sir.
How you doing today, Brian?
Good, you?
I am fantastic, thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Enjoying the heat, I'm sure.
Loving the heat.
I mean, go outside and you have to take a big, deep, feel like a fish out of water.
I thought I was about to die yesterday.
Well, the good news is if you didn't like it yesterday, you won't like it today or tomorrow or the next day.
Even better.
Yeah.
Even better. I love that.
There has been not a lot of in between of late, although the last couple of years we've at least had a spring, but we went from...
We've had April showers for the last 2 months.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Into June, but the spigot sure turned off really quick, didn't it? Well, today we're going to talk about your retirement. You're a financial advisor with Edward Jones, so it makes sense that that's one of the things that we're going to talk about here today. So is your retirement at risk is the question to ask, right?
That's such an important question, Brian. And, it's important to save for retirement. But only half of Americans have calculated how much money that they will need according to the 2024 Retirement Confidence Survey that was put together by the Employee Benefit Research Institute. That's scary. Half have been preparing for this moment.
So you look at two adults, one of them has, the other hasn't.
That's tough. And, without knowing how much you're going to need, it's really, really hard to know if you're on track to reach your goal for retirement.
Well, we're going to look at a few things that maybe will help you help you along the way in terms of your retirement saving strategy, calculating what you'll need, start saving now, taking the right amount of risk, and save separately for emergencies. So some ways we're going to look at retirement today. So the big thing, if you're one out of every two people that hasn't begun, how do you even get started calculating what you need?
We're going to suggest first trying to dream of retiring comfortably. Mm-hmm. But how do you define comfortable in terms of actual money, right? What does that actually mean for you and your family? What does it mean for me and my family? And I think for everybody it can be different. So taking the time really to outline how much that you spend now and how much you think you'll need to spend in retirement. Right? So that will really help you to understand how much you need saved now to afford the retirement lifestyle that you want to live or lead later. Mm-hmm. And a financial advisor can help with resources and knowledge for building and managing your retirement strategy today, tomorrow, and in future years.
Yeah, so if you're that guy that lives in a van down by the river, yours is going to be different than, someone who lives in a nice subdivision. So, You remember that SNL skit?
Absolutely.
That's kind of dating us anyway. But anyhow, so start saving.
He's saying he's old, folks.
Yes.
He's getting old.
Yep. Start saving now. So, Maybe you are a little, white around the beard, but start saving now, right?
I could not think of maybe a better time to do it, right? Other than yesterday. It is so easy, folks, so easy to procrastinate, especially if you're younger and further away from retirement. But know that the earlier you start, the less that you may need to save from each paycheck to build the funds over time. So the younger you start, the more time you give yourself, the less you have to put away to get to the same goal. If you're closer to retirement, you can take advantage also of what's called catch-up contributions. You can do this in your 401k, your 403b, a government retirement plan called a 457, or even other federal government thrift savings plans, other retirements. And, Brian, if you're 50 or older, you can save pre-tax an extra $7,500 to your retirement account beyond the standard total limit of $23,500. That was allowed as of 2025. Those folks age 60 to 63 can now contribute to these plans an extra $11,250 above the standard total limit. And that's an annual total of $31,000 for folks age 50 and older, and $34,750 for those 60 to 63 in pre-tax retirement plan contributions. So the point there is, if you're younger, you may be able to save less and still get there. If you're older and wait, you may have to save a whole lot more to get to the same point.
But it's been made easier to play catch up, apparently, here with some new laws. So we're talking about, is your retirement at risk, with Lee Colvin, Edward Jones financial advisor, taking a look at 4 things to consider. Taking the right amount of risk is the next bullet point we're going to take a look at here.
Brian, we talk about risk a lot on this show. You might think that it's risky to put money away for retirement instead of keeping it handy for discretionary spending. But the biggest risk of all is not reaching your retirement goal. So let me give you an example.
Okay.
A portfolio that's all in cash will have little increasing value over time and won't provide any growth potential even to keep up with inflation. It's as if you're losing money every year. So then again, if your investments are only keeping up with inflation, then your money is not growing. Consider growth investments to help build the funds that you'll need in retirement. The key is ensuring that you have the appropriate amount of risk, not too much, but not too little, to achieve your growth goals.
Just right, like the
just right
Goldilocks, right? Final thing here, saving separately for emergencies. That's kind of what you just alluded to, keeping money handy for discretionary spending, emergencies, things of that nature, and that should be a consideration in looking at your retirement and seeing if it's at risk.
Certainly. And, to protect your hard-earned retirement savings, we suggest building an emergency fund separate from your long-term investments. It can help ensure that you have what you need to cover surprises, maybe like an auto repair, right? Unexpected medical bills, temporary loss of income from changing jobs, or even early retirement caused by health issues. So for most people, Brian, 3 to 6 months worth of total expenses. So 3 to 6 months of total expenses, not total income, is an appropriate amount for an emergency fund. And you'll want to keep it in an accessible, low-risk account that holds cash or equivalents to that. But really, above all, try to avoid taking money from your long-term retirement investments. Doing so could result in taxes for you, penalties, reductions to the overall principal investment, all of which could certainly affect your retirement savings over time.
You know, you think about retirement being, an exciting time. You've worked really hard. It's time to kick back and take life by the horns here. But you got to plan for that.
You definitely have to plan for it. And it's hard. It doesn't have to be as hard as we make it. But planning for what you'll need and protecting those savings can help ensure a comfortable future. So planning is the first key, and we're more than happy to help plan. We're more than happy to help invest and help get you to your goal. So, Brian, we always tell folks on here, we'd love to hear from you. You can reach out to my office, either sending a message on Facebook, sending a message on LinkedIn to Edward Jones Lee Colvin. You can give us a call at my office, 615-907-7056. Again, that's 907-7056. Feel free to give us a call. We may sit down with an appointment or on a phone call. Ask some preliminary questions just to find out where are you at on your path to retirement or on your path for any other goal you have. And either someone in my office can help or someone in the Rutherford County area can try to help who may live near you, may focus as a specialty on the goal you're trying to reach. So please give us a call. We'd be more than happy to talk to you, more than happy to help. And we look forward to hearing from you soon.
Lee Colvin with the Edward Jones offices of Lee Colvin joining us today on the show.